Hi everyone, it's Karen, Crafty Karen Designs. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the September Stamp Around the UK video hop. Stamp Around UK is a group of UK Stampin' Up demonstrators who get together once a month and we all make a video on the same theme. And this month's theme, excuse me, is Step It Up. So Step It Up usually means, for card making, usually means 3 different phases, if you like. So we'll start with something that's very simple, move on to something that's a bit more stepped up, a bit more involved, a bit more detailed, and then on to something that's really detailed with lots of bling, lots of embellishments, lots of techniques. And in the Stampin' Up world, we usually call it simple, casual and avid crafters. So this is my card for the simple crafter, using Coastal Cabana, and I'm using the Shaded Summer stamp set. And all it is Coastal Cabana stamping, random stamping all over here, piece on the inside with a bit more stamping and a sentiment and a punch for the double oval punch for the sentiment. And I've added a few rhinestones for a bit of bling. The next one that I'm going to make, and I'm going to show you how to make all 3 of these, but we're going to do it in a different colour. So this is the casual grafter one. As you can see, it's slightly more involved. We've got die cuts and we've got embossing folders, a bit of ribbon. And then for the avid crafter, we've got some gold, I think it's called bedazzled gold paper. We've got embossing, we've got die cuts, we've got layered die cuts, little bit of stamping, and again stamping inside. So you can see that each one is slightly more complicated than the other, and I've used lots of different supplies in various different ways. So we've got the Shaded Summer stamp set for just the stamping. We've got the Pretty Flowers embossing folder. I've used a tag from the Pretty Pillar Box dies, which is that one, for the Avid Crafter card. I've used, these are the Summer Shadows dies, which I've used ribs to cut out all the flowers. One escaping. And then I've used another label die from the Meadow dies. So put all those to one side. I've also used the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and some rhinestones, some elegant trim, and some gorgeous great ribbon I'm going to use this time. So let me show you how to make them. So we'll start with this version. So this time I'm going to make it in Gorgeous Grape. So I've got a piece of, all my card blanks are the same size. It's 5 7/8 by 8 1/4. I'm going to fold that in half. Burnish it. There's the card base. Then I've got a piece of basic white to go on the front and a piece to go on the inside, and they're both 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. And then I've punched out a Gorgeous Grape sentiment label And when we stamp the sentiment, I'll stamp another one to go inside that. So let's get some ink. So first of all, I'm going to use this large flower stamp, and I'm going to randomly stamp it all over this piece. So you can change the direction, you can change how much of it you stamp on there, just really covering the space. And have a little bit up there, so I'll put that in there. So see how simple that was, and that's just covered all of that space. And we'll stamp up one on the inside piece while we're here. There we go. Put that over to one side, out of the way for now. And I'll close that up for a minute. So all we're going to do with this now is add that to there. And what did I do with the... That's going to go in the middle. And I'm going to stamp a sentiment. So we're going to stamp Happy Birthday on this one, which is that one. And we'll stamp on this scrap here. There we go. And then I'll punch that out with the duo punch. And I'll keep that spare one for something else. So we'll add that to that. And then on the inside, we're going to stamp this one, Love You Friend. Because when I've finished, I'm going to send these cards to some of my stamping friends. There we go. So I'll close that up for now. And we'll stick this together. So we'll have that on the inside. I really like this stamp set. It's new to me. I only actually bought it because the dies are part of the celebration offering. And I really like the dies. So I had to buy the stamp set to go with it. So we'll add this to the card front. Just leave a little border all the way around. And we'll add that to there. And then we'll add that on some dimensionals. Just so we've got a little bit of lift in the middle. Take the backs off. And we'll add that in the middle, about there. And we'll find some rhinestones. And we'll scatter a couple of those about. So we'll have a big one in that flower. And we'll have a little one on there. And we'll have a medium-sized one over here. So it's similar, but not exactly the same. So there's the first one. Really, really quick, really, really simple. Actually, I think we might have another one on there because there's a bit of a smudge. So we'll use the smudge as an opportunity for embellishment. Well, that one there. Because we need to do them in odd numbers, we'll add another one. Another one up here. So we've now got 5, so we're all right. Got an odd number on that one. So it's more than that one, but very similar, although not exactly the same. So there's the first one. So now we're going to step it up a bit and make one like this. Excuse me, just let me get a quick drink. So this time we're going to use the embossing folder, which is very pretty. You can see it. So just stick a piece in like that with the Stampin' Up logo on the front, and then just run it through the embossing machine. But I've already done that, so that's it when it's done. Isn't that lovely? And that's the other side, which is equally as lovely. So let's move that out of the way. So we need another card base. Again, same size, 5 7/8 by 8 1/4, scored in half at 4 1/8. And that's going to go on there, but not yet. So we need to stamp. Use one of those. We need to stamp the floral image, and we're going to cut it out this time. So let's put the lid on that glue before it dries up. So again, gorgeous grape ink. Stamp that on there, and we're done with the dies. We'll line that up on the top. Like that. Just stick it down with a bit of tape and then run that through the machine. But I've already done that. So we'll use that one. Because I'm making 3 cards, I decided to do all of this in advance, because it would take forever and ever. Sorry, excuse me, I've got a bit of a tickly throat. Right, so that's going to go. I've die cut one of the stitched rectangles, Stitch So Sweetly rectangles. It's the middle one. So that's going to go on there, and that's going to sit on the top of it like that. And then we're going to have a sentiment across here. So I've punched out, die cut rather, this label from the Meadow dies. And on this one, I'm going to stamp Love You Friend. just line it up. It only just fits. There you go. So that's going to go on there. Let's close that up for a minute. I want to use some of this. Oh wow, that's the last bit I've got left. Some of this ribbon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread it through that side and up out the other side like that. And we're going to add it across there like that. So we'll add some dimensionals to the back. And take the backs off. And then we'll place that out there. Turn it over. And then what I do is I just sellotape the ends down with a piece of sticky tape on the back. Like that. So that's going to go on there, and that's going to go on there with that. I quite like that, that's quite pretty, isn't it? Okay, so let's get the glue going. So I'll add some glue to the back of this. Plenty of glue because of the ridges and the ribbon. Get that a press all the way around. I think this embossing folder is absolutely gorgeous. There we go. And then add this on dimensionals. In the centre, like that. Doesn't look quite straight, that. Let's see if we can peel it off without ruining it. That's better. And I'm going to add this. I'm going to put this on dimensionals as well. You might have to put it, if you're posting it, you might have to put it in a padded envelope. Backs keep coming off these. But never mind. Add that. And I like that. Now the other one has got a bow, but that's not going to show up on there, is it? And I haven't got enough of it. So, plan B. See what other ribbons we've got. Got some of this we think of that? I'm not sure whether this will tie a good bow. It's a bit stiff. Might be a bit hard to manipulate. I'm not the world's greatest bow tire at the best of times. And certainly not when you're watching me. Let's give that a whirl. That's quite pretty, isn't it? See if we make it a tad smaller. Because it's got the glitter in it, it gets stuck. Come on, stop messing about. That'll do, we'll chop the ends off. Get the glue dots. And we'll add that to the corner. So again, this one's going to be slightly different, but basically the same. So we'll add some bling. So a couple on there like that, and then we'll have another one down there. I think that'll do. So there's the second one, which is, oh no, I've not done the inside, have I? Hold your horses, Karen, you've not finished. Right, again, we'll stamp the flower. And we need another sentiment. So we'll add that there. And that's got love you friend on it. What should we put on the inside? This one. Some friendships are just meant to be. And this one is going to a very special crafting buddy. There we go. So we'll close that one up and add this one to the card. There we go. So now I've finished it. So that's the second one, what we would call a casual crafter. So they've got bits, they've got a few supplies, they've got some embossing folders, they've got some bling, got some ribbon, a few die cuts. On to the next one. And this next one is a bit more complicated, a bit more involved, takes a bit more time. So this would be your avid crafter who's got lots of stuff. So I'll show you how to make this one. So again, we're going to start with the same size card base. 5 7/8 by 8 1/4. Golden burnish. And then I'm going to use some of this, what's it called? Bedazzled. Have a look. Oh. It'll be dazzling paper, which is free in the with the qualifying order in Celebration. So I've cut that to the size of my standard card base, which is 3 7 layer, which is 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. So And glue that one down because this one might take a while to stick because it's quite thick. So we'll put plenty of glue on. And we'll add this. Give it a rub from the back. There we go. I'll leave that to dry. And then we're going to add another embossed layer. So again, I've used the same embossing folder, but I've chopped this one down a bit so that we'll see some of the gold. So this one is now 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. So when it goes on there, you'll see a little bit of the border. Like that. Okay. And then I've cut out, die cut the solid flowers and leaves. Oops. Like that. And I've also cut them out, cut the outlines out in the bedazzling. Like that. I'm going to layer those one on top of the other, like that. So, get my tweezers. This is just the multi-purpose glue that I've decanted into a different bottle so that I can just add little bits of glue. Now, I've got quite an old big shop, and I had to run this paper through 2 or 3 times, and I had to use a shim as well. I'm sure on the newer models and the Stampin' Cut and Emboss, I'm sure it will probably go through on just one. But once I'd put a shim on it and run it through a couple of times, it was fine. Because it is a little bit thicker. So just bear that in mind if you've got an older machine. Just layer them up like that. There we go. Whoops, wrong way around. And these leaves are a bit delicate, so just be careful. Because the cardstock in between the leaves is very, very narrow. There we go, like that. So I'm going to add this to the card front with dimensionals because it might be difficult for the glue to dry on there. It doesn't always stick on gold foil. So to be on the safe side, we'll stick it on dimensionals because they'll stick to anything. So I'm going to lay this down first and then I'm going to arrange the flowers on it. So in the middle, like that. And then all I did was play about with arranging the flowers. I'd already done some. in what I thought was a nice arrangement. So some of them I'm going to put on dimensionals and some of them I'm going to glue. So put dimensionals on the big ones. And we'll start with that one about there. And then we'll have some leaves. Tucked in there. Like that. And we'll tuck that underneath there. We'll have this one. Over here. And tuck these leaves in underneath this one. Under there. I think we'll put this one on a dimensional. And we'll have this one about there. It's not exactly the same as the other one, but similar again. So then we've got a tag. I'm going to stamp on that. I'm going to stamp thank you on this one. Oops. And this is the tag from the pillar box dies. And then we need a piece for the inside. So again, I'm going to stamp the flower. Like that. And we've got thank you on the outside, so I'm going to use this one. May the good you do come back to you. I think that's a really nice sentiment. I'll put that in there. We'll close that up. So we'll add that to the inside. So don't forget, the links to everybody else's videos are underneath this video in the description bar. There's also a link to my online shop where you can buy any of the products that I've used. And there's also a link to my blog, craftykarendesigns.blogspot.com, where all the measurements will be for this project and for all the others that I've made. There's also a link on my blog to my newsletter. I've got a weekly newsletter which comes out by email and has details of everything that I've uploaded the previous week, along with links. And then there's all the latest Stampin' Up news as well. All in one nice, easy, convenient email. It comes out once a week. So if you go over to my blog, there's a pop-up box. If you click on if you fill your email details in on the pop-up box, you'll get added to the list. And every Monday morning, you will get an email from me with all my latest news. There we go. Let's put all these lids on. Sorry, that was a piece from the Elegant Trim. It's a bit rogue, that piece, isn't it? It'll lie down eventually. This comes in gold and silver. Let's just tidy this lot up a bit, and then I'll show you all 6 cards. So don't feel intimidated by any of this if you're a beginner crafter and you haven't got many supplies, because you can do the first one. Which is this one. And this one. Again, it's just simple stamping with punch out from the double oval punch and sprinkle a little bit of bling. But if you haven't got any bling, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so there's the simple ones. Now for the casual crafter, I've got these 2. So casual crafter might have a die cutting machine and a few embossing folders, a little bit of bling, a little bit of ribbon. This is the grey granite ribbon. And this is, I think it's just called Sheer Gorgeous Grape. And this one is the new one out of the mini catalogue, whose name escapes me. But it's the only white glittery one we've got. So that's the one for the casual crafter. And here's the ones for the avid crafter. So we've got all sorts going on with this. We've got gold paper, glittery paper. We've got embossing folders. We've got layered up die cuts. Stamping. Added dimension. Simple stamping on the inside. So I hope you agree that I've met the brief. I think I have. I'm really quite pleased with these. So don't forget, all the information will be over on my blog, craftykarendesigns.blogspot.com, later on today. Links to everybody else underneath the video. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd be really grateful if you click on the red subscribe button, click on the bell, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And don't forget, pop over to the blog and sign up for the newsletter and get your weekly email with all my latest news. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.